The Thistle Quilt Guild is a Pictou County guild that meets at the Westville Recreation Centre in Westville, Nova Scotia. We have about 70 members and enjoy the social aspect of the group as much as the sewing part. In this very special year of Canada's 150th birthday, our guild is having its 15th birthday. We have some very special projects to show you to celebrate those two events. Our show takes place at the Westville Civic Centre Gymnasium, so we have lots of room to display our quilts. Guild members working at the show wear special chatelaines so you know who is on duty and ready to answer your questions. Our guild members made this beautiful maple leaf themed quilt to raffle as a fundraiser. Tickets went like hotcakes. The winner was a quilt lover, so it went to a good home. You will see many items around the room that have a Canadiana theme. Mary Wadden and Linda Crosby accept the fee to gain access to our artistic event. Gloria Turnbull made a small hanging that graphically shows you that you don't touch the quilts, unless you are wearing clean gloves provided for that purpose. This is a standard rule at quilt shows. Some of our members, Gloria Turnbull in particular, love to make miniature quilts. The pieces are very small and precision cutting and stitching are essential. You can see examples of that attention to detail in the pieces shown here. Janice Dion started making travel placemats a while ago. Almost every year we convince her to share her know-how to new members who missed the last training session. They are a handy way to corral your cutlery and add a bit of home to a stark lunch table. Some of the ladies have made them for their husbands to take to work. Kate Anderson taught a crazy quilt workshop on how to make a pillow with oddly shaped pieces, embroidery, and other decorative bits. Janice made hers into a beautiful vest. We have embroidered pillows, and some ladies have learned to decorate squares with flower pounding. Note the strategically placed racks, flower arrangements, children's chairs, and other decorative elements. Many are set by the upright supports for our display racks, so our visitors don't trip over the supports. New babies require a quilt as a rite of passage. You will see quite a number of them scattered around the room. Baby quilts, that is, not babies. Not unless visitors have brought them along. Pillowcases are a popular item. Many ladies make them to go with the quilts they create. Our guild donated 131 to the Shepherd's Lunchroom for their Christmas parcels this year. And of course we have table toppers for every occasion. Linda Coolin Smith came to our guild to teach free motion quilting. Use your sewing machine and a needle and thread like a pen and ink to draw thread patterns on your quilt. Of course, you have to practice on scraps first. Bags are another favorite item among quilters. Kate Anderson even made a backpack. We tease our most prolific bag makers about being bag ladies. We mean it in the nicest way. Some even agree to show the rest of us how to create these lovely accessories. A bit more of that and we'll all be bag ladies. Felicity was a new pattern from quilt designer Karen Neary. Karen kindly gave us a reduced rate on the pattern, and the ladies found this an enjoyable and interesting workshop. We have used several of Karen's patterns for workshops with very good results. Our instructor, Ann Maddie, found lots of teaching points throughout the workshop that can be used on many other projects. In September, Kathy Tidswell did a trunk show for us and a workshop the next day on thread painting. We were in awe. Some months later, Sheila Monroe taught a workshop on curved piecing using scraps of colorful and interesting fabric. Match that up with free motion quilting, and you have what it takes to create these beautiful landscapes and pillows that are great for gifts and for decorating that small space that just needs a little something. These elegant looms are the handiwork of Carol Jackson. They sit beside a kimono hanging made by Wilma Jenkins. That one's all in the fabric folding and the attention to detail. Most of the projects could have been made with a Christmas theme using Christmas fabrics, and some were. We had lots of Christmas tea towels sporting appliqué with Joyeux Noël thanks to Carol Francis showing the members how to make them. We were issued a challenge to each make a tree ornament. Make one in red or white or both. Many of the ladies completed that challenge, so we have a beautiful Christmas tree. Round robin projects are rather popular with quilters. A small group of quilters, in this case 4, work on a quilt. Each one picks some fabrics, a size, and a theme for her quilt. She makes the first block and puts it and fabric in a pizza box. Pizza boxes are a very good size and you cannot see through them to peek. Peeking ahead of time is frowned upon. The boxes pass to the designated person in the group who makes another block or strip to go with the first one. Each month, the box is passed to another member of the group, and finally it comes back to the originator, who finishes the quilt. The quilts vary greatly. Some are pillows, some are wall hangings, and lap quilts. They are all interesting. The ladies were very excited when the pizza boxes were returned to them, and everyone wanted to see the completed quilts. Bargello is a method of mixing shades of fabric of varying brightnesses and designs to achieve a pattern with a somewhat geometric appearance. The shades blend and radiate outward or inward depending on the construction. It requires precision and a lot of cutting and stitching. Then do so most quilting projects. Valerie Levy made the trek to Westville to teach a workshop on improv piecing. The ladies had some very upbeat looking pieces of quilting and a new set of quilting skills from this workshop. Ann Maddie is full of good ideas for quilting, and this year she outdid herself. She suggested members make a banner for their doors to celebrate Canada's birthday. She gave measurements and said that it must include some Canada 150 fabric. Several manufacturers of fabric made special yardage for their special birthday. As you can see, this was a very popular project. There are so many different designs and creative ideas used to make these banners. It is impressive. Rita Badu has been responsible for organizing our workshops for the last 2 years, and she's done a great job of it. Rita is fairly new to quilting. She jumped in with both feet, used her organizational skills, and added a lot of hard work. We reaped the benefits. Sheila Monroe was working hard to come up with ideas to inspire us to try new techniques each month, and she has come up with something different to offer every time. So thank you to both of these ladies and all of the others who've pitched in and helped out and done whatever they can to make this show a great success. Norma McCara's 150 quilt is reminiscent of a tea party, where the party-goers look through a window to view Canada and some of the country's more common icons. Norma often gives her quilts away to family members. Her husband Ian wants to keep this one. Can you blame him? Sheila Monroe organized a Block of the Month project. This means that participants make an assigned block each month. Instructions are given for the block at the monthly meeting. In this case, 2 or 3 blocks were assigned every month. The design was Westering Women by Barbara Brackman. Sheila added a few more blocks from Quilter's Cash so that we could make our quilts larger than the original design. Barbara has seen the photos and was suitably impressed with the results. As you can see, we had very good participation and very good completion. And now we'll get on to the big quilts. If you see a paper hand pinned to a quilt, it was hand quilted. Diane Gordon made a Canadian-themed quilt with many, many little red and white squares, and it sports a mounted policeman decorating the corners. It's a gift for her brother who's retiring from the RCMP. We have a number of magic tile quilts completed from a workshop Wilma Jenkins taught. It has been a popular workshop, and Wilma is asked to repeat it fairly frequently. The quilts are bright and cheery. Some smaller pieces were mixed in with the big quilts. A 60-degree ruler was used to make some very pretty and very interesting runners or table toppers from a border print. They've been quite popular with our guild since they were first introduced a few years ago, and they keep showing up at our shows. Nicely done, ladies. This is the Quilt of Valor. Kate Anderson looked after organizing and making this quilt. 30 blocks were given to the guild to assemble and quilt. Members put them together, and we had Denise White machine quilted. It will be presented to a wounded person from the Canadian Armed Forces who is from Nova Scotia. Firefighter Red. This quilt is not in honor of Canada Day, but a dedicated firefighter. Heather Campbell's husband, Brian, loves his quilt dedicated to his passion for putting out fires. This snowflake quilt is Kate Anderson's UFO. A UFO is an unfinished object. We can register an unfinished project and pay $1. If we finish the project, our name goes into a draw. At the last meeting in June, a name is drawn and the winner gets the money collected. Kate didn't get the money, but her quilt is done. That's a prize in itself. Here we see quilts made from blue jeans, some decorated with pinwheels, and Margot Fleury's disappearing 9-patch. Great Balls of Fire is the name of these two wall hangings by Ann Maddie and Wilma Jenkins. They're very showy, and a lot of precision work is involved in their construction. Joan Waters is responsible for this quilt with hexagons all over it. Jocelyn McDonnell made this fall sampler. It was a 2013 project, so it's a finished UFO for her. These pretty quilts were passed by quickly in displaying the tiny treasures. Take time to appreciate the large quilts at the back, shining through in their red and white glory. Joan Waters made the little red dress quilt. We don't sell our quilts at the show. We do have a few books and magazines that were previously loved and ready to be rehomed. There is also a bit of fabric in that category. Our stage houses our vendors for the show. A needle-pulling thread from Digby, and Mrs. Pugley's Emporium from Amherst. We would like to thank them for joining us for the show and also for providing some door prizes. The quilts on display are impressive. Many that were made are residing far away, so you don't get to see all of our lovely work. Aren't we lucky that the ladies held on to some of it? After viewing all the quilts, we can rest and chat about the gorgeous things that we've seen while we have a cup of tea and some sweets. Jewel Dorrington organized the tea room committee. The ladies pitched in, made sweets, manned the room, and helped serve. Members made decorations for the room with a Canadian theme so that you could be steeped in Canadiana along with sipping your steep tea. We don't have judges at our show. It is informal and meant to be fun. We do hand out ballots for viewers' choice. 42 items received votes, and Norma McCara won for her quilt, Soulscape Echoes in Time. It will go to a family member and reflects memories in the pattern and the quilting. It is an original design by Norma. The back of the quilt is pieced decoratively as well as the front. It is a true work of art. Thank you to all the members, family, and friends who helped make this show possible. You all come back again and see us in 2018.